I mean, this is like the perfect Wisconsin food, right?
It is.
Cheese, curds, onion ring. I gotta try one of these. This is like a meal in and of itself. Break it.
Is that the technique? You gotta.
Oh yeah, break it and dunk it. I think that's. Maybe I can sprinkle some on my salad.
Oh, that does work.
Wow. That's tasty. So, here's the question that I have for you.
Yes.
I've been trying to figure this out myself, right? I'm going back and forth. And back and forth and back and forth. I'm like, what would it be? What wouldn't it be? What would it be? What wouldn't it be? And I'm getting like, oh, worked up. You know, I can't figure this out.
I'll help you.
I know, and thank you. What do you think makes a proper sports car?
Wow.
Looks,
that's like asking what makes a proper song. I mean,
valid. See, but I knew you could help me.
It's opinion, it's nuance, it's
Yeah. So I figured with some cheese curds and some onion rings, we can kind of figure this out.
And some beer or root beer.
Root beer. Gotta start with looks.
Okay.
Modern, retro. It's gotta look good, right?
It should. However, I think if it was in my garage,
Yeah.
I'd take an ugly one that handles beautifully and is just a load of fun, rather than one that looks great and disappoints me every time I take a corner.
So you'd be okay walking out to your garage and going, I don't have to look at it from the outside. It's okay. I'll be behind the steering wheel. You're okay with that? Like, seriously?
Well, that's fair point.
I mean, it doesn't need to be the best looking thing in the world.
No.
I get that. But I'm not talking hypercars. I'm not talking supercars. I'm just
No.
a good, proper sports car.
Yeah, it should look good.
It's got to look good, right?
It should look good, and it should look fun,
Should look
and it should be fun.
kind of like it's moving when it's sitting still.
Yeah.
Nissan started the design process for this car way back in 2017. And the goal with the design of this car was to bring a little piece of all of the Z history. Nissan used to be Datsun, came out with the 240Z, the progenitor, in New York in 1969. It went from the 240 to the 260 to the 280 to the 300 to the 300ZX to the 350 to the 370, and now this car, which they're just calling Z. It's not a 400Z, even though it's got 400 horsepower. It should be called a 400Z. It's just Z. And that's probably because it's the last generation internal combustion engine Nissan Z car we're ever going to see. And design-wise, they killed it. I think, personally, this car is absolutely gorgeous. There are little bits and pieces that bring out all of the heritage that is Z. The silhouette is a dead ringer for the original 240Z. Side by side, you get them in profile in that silhouette. It's the same thing. Long hood, sort of a droopy back end. Just a really nice side profile. Up in the front, they've got sort of a big mouth grille that's reminiscent of the early Z cars as well. The headlights have like two half circles, one at the top, one at the bottom, that pay homage to the 260Z. It had a bubble headlight cover. There's a Y brake in the hood, like the original Z. The door handles on the side are flush mounted. Better aerodynamics, of course, but also just like the 350Z when that car came out. In an effort to keep costs approachable for the average car buyer, Nissan did do some parts bins so that inside of the doors are the same interiors as on the 370Z. However, there's some nicer materials, a nice leather and some Alcantara type material there. The switchgear for the HVAC is the same as the 370Z. The heated seats here on the performance model, same switchgear as the 370Z. The transmission, the manual transmission, is actually the same transmission of 370Z, but they redid first and second gear.
But from a driving perspective,
Yeah.
what makes a good
3
sports
pedals.
car?
Car's got to have 3 pedals. Proper sports car, 3 pedals. Yes, there are DSGs that are awesome, dual clutch transmissions that are amazing.
Yeah.
We've driven some together.
Yes.
We've driven some independently, and they're awesome. But a proper sports car needs to have 3 pedals. What about rear-wheel drive, all-wheel drive? Definitely not front-wheel drive.
I think all-wheel drive is okay in a sports car as long as it doesn't habitually understeer and plow. And I mean, if you can tell it, maybe you can adjust the distribution of power from the front to the back and make it more rear biased. I think that's good. But having said that, I guess maybe that steers me to the point that it should just be rear-wheel drive.
You rear biased yourself into a corner with that, and it definitely needs to be rear-wheel drive because it's more playful, right?
It is, yeah.
You can hang out the back end. It's really hard. Now, there are some cars that are getting to the point where you push a button, you turn off traction control, or you do the torque split like you're talking about. And now you can maybe hang out the rear end, but it's so much easier if it's just rear-wheel drive. It's so fun to have a rear-wheel drive car with a manual. There's the big question, and we agree and disagree, I think.
Uh-oh.
Power.
Well,
Not necessarily the power plant itself, not 4-cylinder, 6-cylinder, 8-cylinder, though. 8 cylinders.
No, power is great, but I think a sports car is about balance. Everything at a proper level. So I think to make it playful, you want to be able to throw that thing around corners, but you also want to be able to mid-turn, roll it to the floor and know that it's not going to, the back end isn't going to become the front end. You're not going to lose traction.
Right.
You know, it's about balance, and I think like a Miata with 500 horsepower would just be stupid.
Says Brian with
guilty!
a Miata with over 500 horsepower.
No,
Stupid fun, maybe.
But the Miata with 500 horsepower is a car like that can be thrilling and exciting, but yet it's not. What's the term I'm looking for? It's not fully exploitable.
Right.
I think you want a car that's quick and fast and powerful, but not beyond the point where it's fully exploitable. You want to be able to roll that throttle to the floor without having to worry about it.
Yeah.
Because once you start worrying, some of the fun goes away.
That's a really good point.
Now, sort of along the lines of power, how should it make that power? Naturally aspirated, supercharged, turbocharged, Wankel?
No. Nope.
We agree there.
Not there. You know, I love naturally aspirated engines. Just that smooth onset of power is so nice. But when you get a turbocharged engine, you can build up that low end torque and fill in, you know, kind of what that engine might be lacking.
I agree. And part of that, I think, is because the naturally aspirated engine delivers its power in a linear fashion,
Nice and smooth.
which makes it so predictable and repeatable. You know exactly what's going to happen every time you push that pedal down. You push the pedal down that much farther, and you know you're going to get that much more acceleration.
Yeah.
Turbocharged engines, there can be lag. You never quite know when it's going to come on or how hard it's going to come on. And
Nope.
And
Companies are getting good about the lag, though.
They're getting good about
Like
it.
look at Ferrari with the F8. I know you haven't driven that car.
Nope.
But there is no perceptible lag in that
Okay.
car. And it's twin turbo, right? I think that, I agree, I don't like turbo lag. But if it's your car and you get really familiar with it and you know when that's going to hit, you can have fun with that.
You adapt to it.
But do I feel turbos make the most proper sports cars? No. I don't think so.
Natural aspiration's the way to go.
Engineering wise, we've got the same platform as the 370Z, the last model. However, it's been fortified, it's been strengthened, it's been changed a little bit. All of the suspension has been upgraded and retuned to make this car handle better. Why? Because stuffed under the hood of this car is a 3-liter twin-turbo V6 putting out 400 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. Driving through a 6-speed manual transmission is standard. There's a 9-speed automatic optional. And in the manual car, like the model that we have here, there's a carbon fiber drive shaft.
All right. No struts. That's all right. Those are superfluous anyway. Right. Adequate. All right. So oil, easy to get at. Fluids, all readily accessible. Nice. Oh, strut tower brace. That's good for all that handling stuff. Twin turbo V6, 400 horsepower. So we've got power to weight ratio needs to be greater than 0.10. So we got 400 horsepower. We got 3,500 pounds. That'll do it. All right. Good. We're good under here.
Then there's 2 iterations of Z. You can get a Sport or you can get Performance. The Sport model comes in around $40,000. That's their entry-level Z car. And then you get into the Performance model, which adds a spoiler on the back, bigger wheels, bigger brakes, 19-inch raised wheels, a little bit bigger brakes by about an inch front and back. You've got 4-piston front, 2-piston back calipers versus 2 and 1 in the Sport model. But most importantly, you get a mechanical clutch type limited slip differential to help put that power down and keep it down. Another addition on the Performance models is S mode. There's a little button to the right of the shifter that puts you in S mode. So there's rev matching. You don't have to do it yourself. So I'm in 5th, drop down to 4th, it blips the throttle. Drop down to 3rd, it blips the throttle. And it meets me where I should be. Is it fun to do it yourself? Absolutely. Is it nice to not think about it sometimes? Sure.
So you'd rather have less power, but that smooth delivery of that power.
Yep.
Through 3 pedals.
I would.
In the rear wheels.
Rear wheels.
In an attractive package.
Yeah.
That has... Go ahead.
I just thought of another thing.
Okay.
Communication.
Mm-hmm.
What's more important in life than communication? All right?
I don't know.
Between
How
people.
are these chips? Oh, speaking of that.
How's that communicate?
Clearly. Quite good.
No, but the car should communicate with you.
For sure.
All right? And that's chassis, that's steering. Car nowadays with hydraulic steering is a rare thing anymore. It's all electric.
Mm-hmm.
So hydraulic systems they did a lot better job of communicating through the steering wheel. I want to feel the texture of the pavement through the steering wheel.
I agree.
And not only that, but when I enter a turn, I want to feel that steering weight up.
Yep.
So communicating through the steering wheel can help you understand if you're about to the limit where it's going to start to plow. And if the chassis communicates with you, and maybe that even means a little bit of lean.
Mm-hmm. It shouldn't be a flat
A
board.
car doesn't have to corner flat.
The steering in this car is actually quite good. It's a speed-sensitive electric power steering unit, and that just means if you're going really slow, it's going to boost it a little bit. If you're going faster, it's not going to boost it as much. But the road feel, these aren't the best roads in the world, and there's a lot going on, And that's actually being transmitted through the steering wheel. Speaking of steering wheels, this one is all new for the Z, and it's only for the Z. And it actually is really nice to touch. It's really nice to feel. So this new Z is fitted with a double wishbone suspension up front, multi-link suspension in the rear, with monotube shocks. And the ride is actually pretty well composed. What I have found is the chassis doesn't really let you know when it's going to break loose. You can catch it, but it doesn't warn you in advance. It just starts letting go. In the performance model, it's a sport tune suspension. You do not have adjustable dampers. You cannot change that. In the automatic, there's a normal mode and a sport mode, but it doesn't change the suspension. It changes the throttle mapping and the gear shifts. It doesn't change any suspension components. So the ride is good. It feels a little floaty to me, but it's also not punishing because of that. So that's a nice thing.
So good suspension.
Yep.
Good suspension, solid
Suspension.
chassis,
Yep.
in an attractive package
Right.
with a fair amount of power. What's the right amount of power?
Oh, boy. It
I
probably
said 3,000
probably
pounds,
comes
300
down to
horsepower.
Right. So you got 10 pounds per horsepower there. 10 pounds per horsepower isn't a bad
No, it's not.
ratio.
Right.
It's enough to accelerate briskly and be fun, but yet you can power on through a turn and not worry about going into the weeds.
Yeah.
You start getting to 5 pounds per horsepower, like some of the supercars. Now you got to have a lot of electronic nannies and things to make sure that you don't kill yourself.
Another nod to Z's of past are the 3 analog gauges mounted here on the center of the dash. You've got a turbo boost gauge, a turbo speed gauge, which actually tells you the rotation of the twin turbos, which is kind of cool. Then there's a voltmeter. And the turbos really help power come in low, as opposed to just the naturally aspirated car like the outgoing 370Z. That 350 pound-feet of torque is available at 1,600 RPMs, all the way up to 5,200 RPM. Nissan has completely updated the gauge cluster for this new Z. It's a 12.3-inch TFT screen in front of me, which you can actually change. There's 3 different modes for the screen. You can do sport, normal, or enhanced. And in sport mode, you got a nice center tack with a speed up on the top, engine oil temp, water temperature, engine oil pressure, differential oil temp. Tire pressure's on the other side, but you can actually scroll through that and make that a boost gauge, which you also have over on the analog gauges, a G meter, upshift indicator, and tire pressures. And then in the normal mode, you've got a tack and a speedo with some extra information right in the middle. Very informative. And then in the enhanced mode, it moves the tack and the speedo to the side, and you can show like your whole map. You also have an 8-inch touchscreen in the center console here for your audio and nav and things like that. It's 9 inches in the performance model, and you don't get nav in a sport model. You only get that when you go up to the performance model. And the screen works okay. I've got no complaints about it. The performance model also gives you a better stereo system, a Bose stereo system.
So I think the only piece of equipment we haven't talked about is brakes. And I think, whatever, but I think that obviously it needs to be able to stop as well as it goes. And I think like the accelerator accelerating in a linear fashion, the brake pedal should have a linear feel too.
Yeah.
It shouldn't be like push it halfway down and you get nothing, and all of a sudden you're pasting your face against the
Like
dashboard.
a lot of carbon ceramics do.
And that's
until
where
they're
I was
heated
going to
up.
go with that. Carbon
So-
ceramic brakes are a wonderful way to spend a lot of money when you check that option box.
Especially if you're going to track the car. They do
But-
work. They work incredibly well. And they are better than they were 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But if you've got a car that doesn't weigh 10,000 pounds
Yep.
and isn't towing around all that weight, then you don't need that unsprung mass. You don't need,
Yeah.
just good old iron is just fine.
And the Z isn't necessarily a lightweight either. depending on sport or performance, automatic or manual, 3,400 to 3,600 pounds, which isn't really obese for a car, but you definitely feel that weight, especially in quick transitions. And at times, the Z can feel a little top heavy.
What about space? Sports car. 2 seats, 4 seats, 2 plus 2, 1 seat.
Yeah.
There's a few of those out there.
Yeah.
Single seat.
Yeah. I feel like it should have 2 seats.
You have some criteria for space too.
Well, I do. So,
Every car that you get, you'll send me pictures. Okay, this one works, right? My dogs like the car, and I can
fit 2 trombones,
There
both
it
of my
is.
trombones in the back.
at the same time.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
In their cases.
A sports car, what did I say earlier? A sports car needs to be fun. Well, what's more fun than being able to hop in your convertible or whatever and go away for the weekend? You need cargo space for that. Cargo capacity. Fun is fun, but you got to be able to go places, right? Looks good. Looks good. But 2 trombone test. Trombone 1. Wow. Even. Nice. Trombone 2. All right. Bass trombone. That's the real test. Wow. She slides right in. And I got room for my gig bag. I cannot believe it. It'll go. All right, check on the trombone test. Poodle test, check, bud. All right. What about comfort? Does a sports car have to be comfortable? I think you want seats that are grippy and they hold you in place in corners. But I've driven some cars that have grippy seats that are also torture devices after about 90 minutes in the saddle.
Or 9 minutes in the saddle.
Yeah.
They need to breathe.
Yeah.
The seats need to breathe.
Yeah.
Because you start driving spiritedly on a twisty road, you're going to get warm.
Yep.
And if you're in a car that has certain suede-like materials that are super grippy and you can't move, you're going to get kind of toasty.
Yeah. And if
I
you
don't think you need heated seats and vented seats, you
No.
know, and heated steering wheels. I think those extraneous items are not necessarily sports car fodder.
Right. And it should hold you in place, but if it's holding you in place because it's got side bolsters that are this far apart and your torso happens to be this big, it's not going to be fun. Right?
Probably not.
Yeah.
Isn't that supercar territory with the side bolsters that are out this far?
Yeah, or race car territory.
So you need to be able to fit
Yeah.
in the seat. And we're both different statures. So sometimes what fits you might not fit me, or what fits me might not fit you. So
Right.
that's always a challenge for manufacturers.
But the Z is all about passion. It's all about the drive. And Nissan nailed a lot of things in this car. But I also feel it falls a little short in a number of areas. My biggest gripe with this car is the seats. There's not enough under thigh support to reach my leg fully. You can tilt up the thigh support with a little crank knob on the side here, and that's nice to have. So you can kind of angle up the bottom of the seat to greet your legs a little better. However, I'm tall enough that literally half of my thigh is not being supported by the seat at all. The engine is definitely powerful, but when you lift off throttle, it really takes some time to come down in the revs, which can be annoying. I've also found that the Z has a little bit of trouble putting that power down at times. The boost comes on early, and that's a great thing. But even with traction control on, you can still spin the wheels. Visibility is good out front. The A-pillar's not overly thick. But when I look over my shoulder, or when I look out the passenger side, not great. Looking out the back, the mirror's okay. Nothing special, but nothing horrible either.
So, interior, let's see here. Ingress is fine. That works. Okay, cool. Seats. Grippy, yes, but comfortable. Yeah. All right. So what about hydration? Got to stay hydrated. Where do I put this? Right there. Convenient, can still shift. That's good, that's good, that's good. What about a long trip? Suppose I got a long trip. Wow. Passes the Bubba test and I can still shift. That's cool. But what my passenger? What's my passenger gonna drink? I don't. Whoa, there's one, but how do I? That's not gonna work. Huh? That's clever. Bonus points.
What about size? That's what I'm saying. 2 doors or 4 doors?
What
Two
about,
seats,
what
4
about
seats? You said
girth,
2
though? I
seats.
mean, what about length and width and all of that? Does a sports car have to be tiny? Some of them we mentioned, like the Miata. It's a pretty small
It's a
car.
pretty tiny car. That could fit into some other cars with room to spare.
Yeah, I think if you start getting too big, they feel cumbersome on a tight, twisty road.
Well, then you get into why is it this big? It's this big because it's a 2+2, or it's bigger because it's a 4-seater and it's a 4-door. Can you have a 4-door sports car? Nissan had the Maxima. Do you remember that?
Not a sports car.
Their advertising campaign was 4-door sports car.
Yeah, well.
And they even had a sticker on the B pillar that said 4DSC.
Yeah.
Because we had a Maxima, and people ask me all the time, what does 4DSC mean? Is that 4-wheel disc brakes? Nope, 4-door sports car.
Yeah, that's called marketing. If you remember back
Exactly.
in the 70s is a little too far back for you, but I remember in the 70s Ford marketing a thing called the Granada that they said looks just like a Mercedes. I'm sorry, but that's silly.
Drives just like one too. No, I think a proper sports car, which is our focus, a proper sports car should be small. I agree, 2 seats, 2 doors, small, lightweight, attractive package, adequate power, 3 pedals, rear-wheel drive, and communicative chassis.
Yep. And if you can do all of that, and as a bonus, ding, price it at a point where your average person can buy this thing and have fun.
So not $300,000.
No. Yeah, we've driven some $300,000 cars that are amazing, but
Yeah.
you know, I mean, it's nice to put something in the hands of average Joe.
And if it's packaged like that, average Joe could handle it.
Right.
If only a company would make a car like that.
So what makes a proper sports car? Looks? The Z has it. The Z nails it. Power? There's plenty of power on hand in this car. 400 horsepower, 350 pound-feet of torque. The Z has it. I say needs 3 pedals, manual shift. Got it. Is it the best shifter in the world? No. but it has it. It's also not the worst shifter in the world. Good brakes. You need good brakes. And you know what? These are solid. At least on the performance model. You have to have a playful chassis. Something to have fun with. And I feel like we're 85% the way there with this car. It's not... If it was a little bit more communicative in the rear, I would like it just a little bit more. When it steps out of line, like I said, it's easy to catch it. It's easy to reel it back in. But it doesn't tell you when it's going to step out of line. That's my problem with that. Needs to have the sound. Again, we're a little short on the sound. The Z makes noise. It's just not the most pleasant oral sensation that I would want from a car that I'm super passionate about. It's got a handle. For the most part, the Z has that down as well. You have to be able to bring somebody along for the ride. Got that base covered. So for the most part, the new Nissan Z, the 7th generation Nissan Z, probably the last internal combustion engine Nissan Z, is a proper sports car. 400 horsepower at $40,000? That's pretty hard to beat. Throw in a few extra things like rev match, limited slip differential, a little bit bigger screen, bigger wheels, bigger brakes. For 50 grand, still hard to beat. Is the Z perfect? Absolutely not. Is the Z a proper sports car? Absolutely. Yo, Brian!
What?
Nissan's here to take back the Z.
I haven't had a chance to drive it.